Hello, this is Sunil Sundaraj with njvarsity.rivals.com. I'm happy to welcome in tonight Wayne Hills football senior offensive lineman and defensive lineman, Joe Kubofcik. Joe, thank you so much for taking some time out to speak with me. Congratulations on a great career there at Wayne Hills High School. You've had a couple months now, just to reflect, Joe, on your career there. I mean, just what comes to your mind, first and foremost, Joe?
Really, what sticks out in my head is how great of a program we were, and I'm really appreciative that I had the opportunity to play with a great group of guys that I know are going to do some great things in life.
We talked about, before we came on the air, Joe, about the 2020 season. I mean, you guys didn't know if you were going to have a season at first. First of all, I mean, with this COVID-19 pandemic and all the uncertainty, and but once you guys, found out that you were going to be playing, especially, for you and the rest of the senior group. I mean, what was that moment for you guys?
It was really it was just great.
Yeah.
We were really happy we had the opportunity to play, even though we had to change opponents the day before the game.
Yeah.
We were just really appreciative that we had the ability to play.
What was that moment when you get hit the pads, the practice field, and just being with your teammates, with your brothers, and the coaching staff? What was that? Just if you can talk about that, Joe.
So it was really unlike any other year.
Yeah.
Just the fact that we didn't know, we had no certainty in whether we were going to come back the next day or not. So we took it day by day, and we just really got the most out of every day. And I'm grateful to say that that we had a great year, and I'll remember it forever, definitely.
What was that first? You talk about the practices, but how about that first regular season game? I said, can you just what that moment? Taking the field, and it said kickoff. Can you and just first offensive or defensive series, Joe?
So we were definitely really hyped up because
Yeah.
it was the first time we were getting back on the field in a year. And me coming off of an injury, I was really excited to just prove myself, go out there and have a blast.
That's great. That's great. I'm curious, like, leading up to your senior year, like, as far as, I mean, because training was also very different, Joe,
Yes.
compared to previous years. I mean, individually, what did you do, do differently, to just to, prepare yourself not only mentally but physically for the season?
Well, our coaches and captains really set us up well. We had daily workouts we had to complete. Parisi Speed School helped us out with some Instagram live workouts, and basically whatever we could do, whatever they programmed, we had an app that we used. And if we had weights, we would use that. They gave us a modified program. So I feel that we really got stronger over the quarantine, opposed to getting weaker.
Yeah. As you alluded to, week to week, I know, you didn't know if you were going to be playing or not, and said again, changing up opponents. But again, you guys went 5-2, I think, 3-1 in the league. I mean, to under those circumstances, I mean, that must have been so rewarding, said to finish on a winning note, especially again for you in the senior class. But what did the senior class mean to you? I mean, for these guys that again you went to battle with the past couple of years. I mean, can you just talk about that, Joe?
Yeah, definitely. So they're quite simply, but they're my brothers. I would do anything for them. And to be able to have an extra year was just a great experience, even though it wasn't what we imagined it to be.
Yeah.
Going to a bowl championship, a state championship, but we definitely had a great season. We had some great. We were on a good roll. We went 5-0 in the beginning of the season. Then we had to quarantine for 2 weeks, and coming back, we finished on an 0-2 note. But really, it was really rewarding overall.
What was that the final game? I mean, knowing that you were taking off that number 75 jersey. I mean, what did that Wayne Hills said football jersey mean to you, Joe, and how emotional not only for you but also your family as well?
Definitely really emotional, just because I've been a part of it since as long as I can remember, attending Wayne Hills football games when I was a little kid. And I know that number 75 jersey is really important to me. I have two brothers coming up through the program,
Okay.
so I know we're headed in the right direction, and we're going to have a great season next year. And we just have such a great history you know, it's really in our program's blood to just keep it going and do the best we can.
Yeah. I mean, just to see the years flying by, asking from where you started to where you finished up. I mean, can you just talk about that progression, Joe? And just, I mean, again, the time flies by so quickly. But again, how much you enjoyed, from the first time you stepped onto that football field, put on that Wayne Hills football jersey, and until your final game, said in 2020.
So I played football when I was in like first grade, but I was over the weight limit, so
Okay.
I had to wait until freshman year to start playing.
Yeah.
And at first, I didn't know how much it meant, like what Wayne Hills football was,
Yeah.
until the first day of practice, and it was just go get at it. There was a certain attitude you pick up immediately once you step on the Wayne Hills football field and put that jersey on, that helmet on, and the progression of that really, I feel that it shaped me in a positive manner. You definitely feel like you have a group of guys around you that'll do anything for you. They always have your back, and to be able to go out there and trust the people you're around is a great feeling. So I think that the progression, it it was just a really rewarding experience, and I wouldn't change anything about it.
Great. And what I had to ask about the coaching staff, the coach, Wayne, Demikoff, the rest of the coaching staff, what they meant to you as far as, your development, these past, I said, a couple of years here at Wayne Hills, Joe.
The coaches are very involved. They do everything they can for us. We're like their sons, They treat us as men, and they want the best for us. They ensure that we get the best and that we're on the right path, and they know how to lead. They serve as really great examples in our community and on the football field. So I really appreciate them as well.
It's great. So, Joe, you played, did you play both offensive lineman and defensive lineman as well? I just wanted to ask you about that, just, with the positions played on the team.
I primarily played offensive line.
Okay, okay. Can you just talk about that? I mean, there's, a technique, there's, you have to have that cohesiveness with, the rest of the guys on the line. And then, of course, with the quarterback and running back and wide receivers. Can you just talk about, those components and how, again, getting, I said, ready for an upcoming season?
Right. So we were a really close-knit group, especially us front five guys.
Mm-hmm.
We always went out to eat. We always, after practice or after games, we would always train together. We would push each other. And what it really is like a chess match. I've been playing chess since I was about, I'd say, 6 years old. And I see us as the pawns. We're kind of like, we're in the front. We do a lot of the work. And what it is to be one of those five guys, it's unbelievable. Technique wise, everything has to be fast, and everything, you need a purpose in every movement, whether you're stepping down or reaching a guy. You got to be able to use leverage. It's actually a lot of physics too, and geometry with angles and stuff like that. So I found that part rewarding.
That's terrific. Hey, there've been plenty of memorable moments over the years. I was jotting down my notes here from a couple of years ago. Covering you guys at MetLife Stadium. I said that 2018. Not only winning a sectional title but a regional title. Defeating Old Penn, and then followed up with the win over Phillipsburg. Said at MetLife. I mean, what were those moments playing in the playoffs, and then of course at MetLife Stadium, Joe?
So it was definitely awesome. We had such a great team that we did really well. And when I was a sophomore, I ended up getting some play time late in the fourth quarter. And it was really rewarding to be able to play in a varsity game at such a young age, along with the people that work together on scout teams. So we already have good chemistry. It was awesome. And it's with Wayne Hills, we're a premier program. We're expected to do great things. So one of the most memorable moments of my Wayne Hills career is right after we won at MetLife against Phillipsburg was everyone was elated. But what I remember is my coach, Claude, like we call him, he pulled me to the side and he said, it's on to the next one. You got to get ready, and just be prepared for next year because that's where we want to take it.
Yeah.
And that's what I remember most.
I have to, dive into these rivalry games, which have been really special. I mean, especially, it doesn't get any better. I think with Wayne Valley. I mean, I think you talk about, not only I think rivalries here in the state, but New Jersey, but I think across the country. I mean, I think I remember, said this is going back, several years ago. Of course, at MetLife, one of the best games. I mean, I still am for the first time and had to leave, but I wish I didn't. But can you talk about that? And of course, with Rampo as well. I mean, you guys almost ended their winning streak. Said in 2019, Joe.
Yeah. So the way we look at Wayne Valley is just a step along the road. Everyone calls it a rivalry,
Yeah.
but we just look at it as another game.
Mm-hmm.
Really, it's between us and Ramapo.
Yeah.
It's big history behind that, and it was really special to all of our coaches, especially the alumni. That Ramapo game, Ramapo week, is something unlike anything else.
Yeah.
So it's just intensity all the way. There's no messing around. It's really amazing to see how a team, even if we didn't do so well the week before, how we could shift into a complete different gear and go headstrong into Ramapo week.
No, definitely. I wanted to get into the school as well. I know it's been very difficult, said the past year, I said being remote and, I said, just talk about the students, the athletic director, the support from the administration, and the town of Wayne as well, Joe.
We have a ton of support coming from all angles. Our administration does a great job supporting us. They always have our backs. And the way we look at it is, it doesn't really matter if anyone's rooting for us or against us because it's just us, we're all that matters. It's almost like our own little world. And we hope that everyone comes along for the ride, but we know we have a lot of people that love us and we love them as well. But it's really important that we just focus on our task,
I think I wanted to ask you about the home games. I think one of the best environments, say in North Jersey high school football. I enjoyed that walk, from the parking lot all the way, said, down to that football field, and then, Friday night lights. Can you just talk about how electric that is? Said to be playing, under the lights on a Friday night there at Wayne Hills, Joe.
It's unlike anything else. To play under the lights is like something I've waited for ever since I was a freshman. Actually, really since I've been watching the game since I was a little kid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's unlike anything else when you're out there. You'd expect everything to be whizzing past you, and you just really can't hear anything. It's almost like you enter a zone, and it's just crazy. You hear your quarterback in the huddle telling you what to do. You hear the play, you hear the breathing of everybody. It almost feels like you're just one big, just organism that's working to do a certain task.
Yeah, it's just great. You got the cheerleaders, you got the band. You say there's just nothing like it. I said with high school football in North Jersey, but I wanted to ask you. I said it's just not about being a football player. It's being, I said, a student athlete as well, Joe. And you have been absolutely, mastered that skill. I mean, looking at your notes. I mean, the fact that a 4.09 GPA at National Honor Society, and the fact. I had to ask you about also your volunteer, said responsibilities as well, at Chilton Hospital, St. Joe's Hospital, and Eva's Kitchen. Can you just talk about some of that stuff and just how you've been able to, again, just seamlessly, just been able to, balance that out?
Yeah, so I aspire to be an orthopedic surgeon one day. So kind of heavily involved in all aspects of healthcare. And I find it really rewarding to help people. It kind of stemmed from when I was injured and seeing some of my other injured teammates. I just wanted to help them, I figured the best way was to start getting involved. giving back means a lot to me and my family. We volunteer at Eva's Kitchen around the holidays, periodic weekends, and working with Chilton as well. I'm a junior board member there, and we're working on fundraising projects right now. Our main project is raising money for the Soothing Paws Pet Therapy Program. So, like therapy dogs that go into rooms, greet patients, you know. In addition to that, I volunteer at the Sunshine Collection, which collects donations, toys, things like that, holds events for children in the pediatric oncology department at St. Joe's, or kids who have Prader-Willi syndrome, things like that. So it's really rewarding to see the reactions of all the people that you help.
That's fantastic. Just an outstanding job. I just have a couple more. Can't thank you enough for the time, Joe.
Oh, no problem.
Yeah, you talk about family, with your brothers, now coming through, it said the school and, it said here, with, the football program. Can you talk about the support from your parents and just, again, family in general? And I'm sure with your brothers as well. This is really special, that, it said you keep that, pipeline going, but just, what that support has meant to you, said, here at Wayne Hills.
I don't think anyone could really no one really knows what to expect when they're going into a program like Wayne Hills. So, eighth grade year, we had we had weightlifting starting in February, and that was great because it got us in shape. But what really got into, I think, what really impacted my parents and the rest of my family was the practice, the games. Just everyone saw the intensity, the drive everyone had, the stress and importance that that football became, and it's really interesting to see, because before I entered the program, it was like Wayne Hills football is a fantastic program, and it's awesome that I'm going to be able to join it. But once you're in it, it's like you have to go 100%. Even at home, it's like you got to make sure you're on top of lifting, staying strong. Definitely mentally, you have to watch film. So my parents are on top of that too. So they really do a great job supporting me.
Yeah, no, it's excellent point you made, because I ask a lot of the majority of players that it's a 24/7, 365. You can't take a day off. I mean, if you
No.
want to be the best, and excel, you have to again be committed to it and put in the time. So even after I've asked players, like, not even a couple weeks after a season ends, as you say, you're right back in the weight room and preparing for the following season, Joe.
Definitely, yeah. It's nonstop, and the way everyone looks at it at Wayne Hills is you have 4 years to make the most of it, and after that, you could do whatever you want. But the 4 years you have now are dedicated to football and maintaining the success that we've had as a program.
Yeah. You might have answered this before, this question, but about what makes the game of football so special, Joe, to you?
The game of football, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I think the game of football is so special because it's really about the brotherhood and camaraderie you have. You need to trust 100% in your teammates to do the right job and to complete everything they need to, and you have to do the same. You're all held accountable with each other, otherwise nothing's going to work. So what's great is that we're like a little machine, and all we have to do is do our jobs, and everything runs smoothly.
No, just right on point. It's correct. I didn't want to forget about the college process. How that's working out for you right now, Joe?
I've received a few D3 offers,
Okay.
so I'm still deciding.
Great. I was wondering, when it comes to playing that offensive lineman position, whether it's college or the NFL, anybody you try to sort of emulate or model your game after, Joe?
Yeah, Marquise Pouncey on the Steelers, he just retired. And Joe Thomas, I used to be a tackle, but I learned a lot of things from him. Tyron Smith, and David DeCastro, I'd say. I'm a Steelers fan, so.
Okay. Final question is that I'm sure that in your senior year, you were able to serve as that role model, be able to pass down your experience to younger, the freshmen and sophomores. I'm curious, like when it's coming full circle, when you stepped in, to the program I'm sure there were seniors on that team that, you were able to look up to and, get some really, useful advice from. Just wondering what your advice would be now to the incoming freshmen and now, even the sophomores and for younger kids as well who are, want to play football and they want to, grow up and they definitely want to play, maybe one day at Wayne Hills.
My advice would definitely be to dedicate yourself 100%, because the fruits of your labor in the end are going to be completely worth it. You can't really have any doubts. You just got to go head first into it and believe that everything your coaches tell you is right. And you just have to work with your teammates. You're going to become brothers just like that. And it's really worth all the effort that you're going to put in over the next 4 years.
Well said. Hey, Joe, it's been a true honor, privilege, speaking with you. Again, thank you again for the opportunity. I said, congratulations now on the upcoming graduation,
Thank you.
here, and then, with college in the fall.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.